Hey everyone, we start with XRP. As what we can see here, based on monthly chart, the XRP, the price tag all-time high. This is what we have been looking for. And since the price was exactly within here, I was keep highlighting for the next year. We're looking for breakout of the or at least the price tag all-time high. That's why since last 1 year, all the time I was keep mentioning about the XRP, and this is what we get in less than 3 months. And I was keep highlighting as long as it start to move, it can move really sharp because I mentioned we wanted to see the breakout of this one, the previous top, and if we refer, I'm referring to this one, which is somewhere around one, okay? Because based on weekly, we had 94 cents. After we get this drop, I mentioned as long as the price broke this top 94, then we're looking for the all-time high. And this is what we get. Okay. Now the question is what's the next? Whether we should look for buy or we sell, what we should do. Okay. First of all, the price tag all-time high. You want us to see how the price react here. As long as the price couldn't break the 42 cent, we have to be quite careful. That's why since the price was below 1, even when it was at the range of the 60 to 70 cent, I mentioned after the breakout of the all-time high, I'm looking for 4.2. And every time I mentioned the 4.2 is not the target. The target I'm looking for is 5.4 and above, 5.4 and 6 at least. This is what I was keep mentioning. And I mentioned the reason we have 4.2 with the breakout of the all-time high, the previous top, which is this one, we want to see how the price can break 4.2. Because if the price consolidate within this range, then we have to be quite careful because we can expect to see the deeper correction before we see the continuation. But if the price could continue and break the 4.2 easily, then we are safe. That means then we can look for 6 and even more than 6. Okay, what I want to highlight here is that whether we should look for buy or not, first of all, the price is at the all-time high. And even based on lower time frame, we don't see any trade setup unless we look for the trade setup based on 1 hour and lower time frame, which is we have to be quite careful that we buying at the all-time high. That's why we have to look for the proper trade setup. But if we see the continuation and with the breakout of the 4.2, then within the short term or we can look for the 6. Okay. Now, what I want to say is that at this point, if anyone wants to look for buy, they need to be quite careful. And we prefer at least to wait another few days. We see how the price react. Because if we get the correction trade setup above the all-time high, then we can look for buy. An opportunity for buy, we'll take it. But when I say a few more days, at least 2 to 3 days, because of we want to see what we will get. All right. Then how about if the within the next few days the price continue and we see the breakout of 4.2? In this case, if we want to wait, we cannot get the trade set up. Okay. Even if we want to look for buy within this range, if the price within the next 2 days continue, the only option is to look for the trade, is to look for the trade setup based on lower time frame, as I mentioned. Okay. Then buying, whether we should look for buy or not, it depends on the trader. But if anyone wants to look for buy, at least they need to get the proper trade setup. Okay, it doesn't mean the price cannot continue. It can continue. The only thing is we want to see how sharp and how fast the price can break 4.2. Because with the breakout of the 4.2, then mostly the price cannot reverse and we cannot see I mean the all-time high can work as a support for us. Okay, then with the breakout of the 4.2, the targets, as I mentioned, I'm looking for is 5.4 and above. That means at 5.4 and 6 within this range we start to book some profit. Then from there we want to see what type of the correction we will get and what's the next target. Okay, with the breakout of the 6, the best we can look for 10. Above 10, at this point we cannot discuss. Okay, then Whether we should book some profit or make some profit, it depends on the traders. Okay, whether they at this point they wanna take out some of the trade and they keep some profit. Again, it depends on them. Then, if we move to lower time frame, for the weekly chart, we don't see anything else to discuss. If we move to daily chart, similar explanation. The only thing is we don't see the trade setup because we don't have the correction. That's why we want to see what we will get here. The only question is, if we look at this top relative to what we have here, we will have a divergence. Whether we should care about the divergence or not, mostly whenever we have a divergence, if the price cannot continue, we see the continuation as a corrective move, then we can look for the reversal. But in this case, the price broke the all-time high. That's why we see is losing the momentum, but it doesn't mean for the reversal. And even if the price is going to drop, it will give us a correction. And then from there, we can look for the next trade to see the breakout of the 4.2. That's why I mentioned if anyone wants to look for buy at the all-time high, they should be quite careful because of what we have here. Okay, that means simply we cannot take the trade. Okay, but we are not looking for the reversal. The only thing is if anyone wants to look for buy again, we want to see how the price can react within this range and whether we can get the trade set up or not. Then we will see within the next 2 to 3 days we can get the confirmation whether we can get the trade set up, or if there is a continuation, then we cannot get it. All right, then it depends on the the traders. I don't want to highlight here that we should wait and we should get the correction before we take the trade. Then we see the continuation, and the traders, they complain why I mentioned about waiting for the correction. What I want to say is that we try to get the trade set up. Simply we don't buy. Then how about if within the next day we see the continuation, we see the breakout of the 4.2? Then how we can look for the trade? Because we don't see the trade setup. That's why I mentioned in that case the only option is to look for the trade based on lower time frame, which we don't discuss it here. Okay, whatever I mentioned and I highlight in my when I share, any video I share on the YouTube, how we can look for the trades similar to what I was explaining since the price was within here. Since the price was below 50, within the range of the 40 and 50 cent, I was keep highlighting we don't need to we don't need to look for the trade setup, just buy. Okay, because at that time we could see the 41 was a support, and this is the range to look for the buy, and the targets we have been looking for is all-time high. That's why I mentioned just buy. But at this point, I cannot say just buy. We have to look for the trade setup. Okay. Then we don't want to buy at the all-time high. Then we see the deep correction. But how to look for the trade? I don't see any information here. The only thing is the divergence, and the divergence, it doesn't mean look for it doesn't mean the reversal. The only thing is maybe we get the daily correction. And if I move to 4-hour chart, I don't see any trade setup. And even if you move to 1-hour chart, can we consider this one as a flag to look for buy? If anyone wants to look for this one as a flag, the only option is to put the entry above the top. Then I don't suggest it, because how about if the price tag and it turns to a deeper correction? Then why we want to buy at the all-time high and then we face the correction? Okay, that's why buying at here, anyone wants to look for buy, they should have their own strategy and they should know how to manage it. And how about if you look for trade based on lower time frame? At this point, I'm not really interested, like 5 or 15 minutes. The only things we should do that for those traders who get the trade from here, the range of the 40 and 50, at least book some profit. At least move their stop loss, or if they can, somewhere around 2.5 or at least 2. Okay, then in case any sharp drop, at least they are safe, because we have seen this kind of the move within 2018. All right, within 1 or 2 days the price could drop very sharply before we see the reversal, before we see, the price could drop then reverse, and that kind of the drop was really sharp. If traders, they look back and they look at the chart, what we have faced on 2018, then they can find out what I'm talking about. Okay, that's why they should at least book some profit at this point. This is the only things for me I will do at this point, book some profit. Then from there, we want to see whether we get any daily correction to look for the next trade or not. Then at this point, for me, I don't have any trade setup. The only thing is again, book my profits. In this case, we look for trade setup, and if I see any opportunity, any trade setup, then I will share. But we have to be quite careful at this point. Thanks.